Suggestions to help borrowers. Every borrower is not a defaulter. Every borrower may be delay in repayment, but not intentional default or diversion of funds, because the MSME holder's risk is more than the lender's risk. So entire his entrepreneur's life, savings, image, assets, everything is kept as investment in a unit. The lenders are supporting them to perform the commercial activities successfully. But if there is a delay, we request that the banks and financial institutions as lenders not to initiate stringent action immediately. Please understand reasons for delay, and if it is anything to help them, try to help them so that they can revive, survive and become profitable. To bring the situation, cordial relationship between the entrepreneur and the lender, some of the suggestions. We bring the following suggestions to the notice of the lenders. There may be a central lending advisory agency so that all the borrower details are available, and multiple loans are also brought under the same platform, and disciplined attitude of borrowers. Disciplined borrowers so that they may not be able to get fresh loans if there is a default in repayment of loans. So the central lending advisory agency will know the capacity of performance as well repayment capacity of the borrowers, so that the lenders can think of granting loans before initially itself, so that their loans are fully secured and repaid in time. And one more suggestion is the bank should not write off the loans. The asset should be continued in the either performing asset or non-performing asset in the balance sheet. That should be either earlier it was there before 1995 that the loan was shown as sticky advance. But once it is written off, it will go to stressed asset loan account, and that department will take care of the recovery of loans by attaching properties or attaching the personal properties, commercial properties, guaranteed properties. So instead of that, the banks can continue to disclose in the balance sheet, disclose in the statements as receivable. Of course, interest may not be credited unless it is recovered, but there is no risk to the principal because all the loans are fully secured. There is no risk even if there is a delay. Next is the borrower should be given opportunity and liberty to forecast their savings, to forecast their repayment schedule along with interest. The borrower may be granted some more time to repay, means it is reschedulement of the existing loan along with interest for a further period, so that he will be comfortable to repay the loans. It is not helping the borrower, that also helping the lender also, because both will be in a good position and cordial terms to repay the loans by the entrepreneur and recover the loans by the lenders. And next, the borrower should be encouraged to reduce their limits. If it is extra limits are used by them, they may be advised to reduce their limits gradually, not at a time, gradually, maybe 5% per month or 10% per month according to their repaying capacity. And current assets and current liabilities also without affecting commercial activity. Current assets means receivables or unused stocks or stocks in progress that can be reduced, and other liabilities means lending obligations, means repayment of loans payable to creditors, that can be reduced by reducing both the things at a time gradually, means shifting for cash sales or cash purchases, that will reduce the current assets as well as current liabilities and without affecting the normal activity. That should be encouraged. The entrepreneur should reduce his receivables as well as reduce his liabilities gradually, so that without affecting normal activity, normal commercial activity, that will make his liability reduce as well as the stocks reduce, help both the borrower as well as the lender. Also, if there is additional loans are granted, means more loans are availed by him because of delay in commencement of production or because of receivables from the purchasers, all this sometimes beyond the control of the manufacturer, maybe power supply or maybe some other problem beyond the control of the entrepreneur, that all that loans up to some day should be along with interest should be brought to one figure, and that should be rescheduled, so that all the loans will be rescheduled, and that will become a term loan, and that will be supported by collateral security. If it is not sufficient, the borrower may be asked to provide additional collateral security to provide support to provide security to the additional loan granted, means additional deemed loan granted by including the interest receivable, all these things, all these loans. So that will help the entrepreneur. If he cannot provide additional security, he may be asked to reduce the limits gradually. It is not attachment at a time, and to stop he may continue completely. Also, it is advisable that if the borrower's property is attached and sold to some other purchaser, the purchaser should provide the entire loan amount at one go. The loan should not be transferred to fresh purchaser. It means it will give wrong impression that the commercial organization transferred to the purchaser at the cost of the present entrepreneur, and that will give lot of damage to the entrepreneur as well as the bankers. If there is a delay, don't give fresh loans, but give some more time. It is not a problem, but don't transfer the loan or take over loans to the purchaser. Means it will give very, very bad image. The entrepreneur will feel that his delay of repayment of loans will be misused by the lenders to take over by the purchaser. And also, if the entrepreneur requires, or if it is beyond the control of the entrepreneur, the group of management may be constituted. That group may be made liable to repayment of loans as per reschedulement. If the entrepreneur has delayed the repayment of loans, now the loan is rescheduled along with interest, and it is better to change the management or to include some other people, experts, as a group management may be made responsible for repayment of such loans as per reschedulement agreed. To grant additional loans, generally the valuation will increase according to the market demand or registration values or inflation. So when there are additional loan is to be granted, all the properties are provided as collateral security by the entrepreneur, or personal properties or industrial property has to be revalued, and based on that the loan may be granted. It need not go for additional capital. Sometimes that may be sufficient to cover additional loan granted or additional reschedulement of additional loan raised due to reschedulement of the existing all loans. When a group is constituted to manage the commercial activities of the unit, the new management group should ensure that the loans are repaid with internal earnings, internal resources, but not with additional borrowing. Means additional repayment of loans should not be with the help of additional borrowings. That should be the first condition, that every repayment of loan should reduce the liability but should not enhance the liability. That should be the first condition for the management, which is agreed took the responsibility of repayment of loans as per schedule. And also, if the new management reconstituted to look after the management, and the existing management powers has to be reduced and made inactive to take decisions to carry on commercial activity. So the new group will take management into their hands and will take every step to the unit survive, revive and profitable. And that group may be constituted with the help of the entrepreneur because of his experience, financial institutions, representative, industrial consultants, business planners also may be there, professionals may be also involved as a group, so that all efforts, all contributors, all members, management team members' efforts will combinedly used to reduce the entrepreneur's burden as well as the lender's burden. Both will be in better position, both will be comfortable by repayment of loans and recovery of loans. So that should be a situation to avoid closing of attachment and closing of commercial activities. Closing of commercial activity is killing an unit, killing an entrepreneur, killing the image of the entrepreneur. So that should not be the cause at all. If it is required, you change the management. If it is required, you reconstitute the management. If it is required, you collect gradually. But don't close the unit which is performing. Don't close the unit which is running, which is working, which is every possibility to revive. Don't give additional funds, but you can grant additional time which is required by the borrower. These are our suggestions, may be useful for the lenders as well as the entrepreneurs.